To tell us a bit about what the future might hold is a futurist, and Mal Fletcher's on the line. So what's going to be different about this new year with regard to technology?
This year we're going to hear a lot more about neural implants. People have often asked, if you can have a wearable on your wrist, why can't you wear one on your brain to help with things like memory loss? And companies like Elon Musk's Neuralink says it wants to start human trials this year. They aim to place thousands of small electrodes inside the brain to read signals from our cells and transmit them to computers so that they can analyse the problem and help solve it. So it might help solve memory loss in some people. It might help sight-challenged people to get some of their sight back. It might help conditions like addiction or depression. But of course there's a downside too, and the challenge for us is that when you start using something in your brain as a lifestyle enhancer, it could mean that we're seeing invasive surgery for non-essential reasons. And there's the danger too of potential hacking. Any computerized device can in theory be hacked. So, we'd need to have some pretty tight regulation. The Chinese government is one of the first to push towards a fully cashless economy. And they're testing in one region of China now a central bank digital currency, which is something that takes all the blockchain and other technologies that drive crypto today and brings them under government control. So you'd have something like a digital pound or a digital dollar. And it might allow people to experience all the convenience of digital currencies, no cash, without the volatility of crypto money. The downside, again, is that governments would get access to all of our consumer-generated data. Every time we shop, we're generating data. And governments, if they were so inclined, could use that to evaluate our choices and even perhaps reshape behaviour. The Chinese Communist Party is trying to do that now with its citizen point system, which, if it links that to a currency, might limit people's ability to buy and sell if they don't behave in government-approved ways. We're going to hear this year more and more about what we call lethal autonomous weapon systems, or LAWS laws. They're basically fully autonomous machines. The machines that can make decisions on the battlefront for themselves. So, it's using artificial intelligence to identify, select and engage a target without any human input. And we will hear more about this year because there are a number of governments, including the UK, the US and Russia, that are looking at the development of this. It's a good example of where our ethics are falling behind. And it asks huge questions like, if we take on machines to do the fighting in wars completely, would we distance ourselves even further from the battlefield and therefore distort our sense of human value? Who would be responsible if a bot makes a mistake, does the wrong thing? Would an unscrupulous politician or general say, look, it's not my fault, it's just the machine? For about 10 years now, technologists have been talking about 3D bioprinting. That is the use of 3D printing to print human organs for transplant purposes. Basically, it's similar to a 3D printer today that builds things layer on layer out of extruded plastic, except that it uses cellular material to build organic things. And scientists in the US just a few weeks ago figured out a way to create human eye tissue using patient stem cells and 3D printing, and that could lead to a breakthrough in treating a whole range of eye diseases, including age-related macular degeneration, which is a big problem in this country. Essentially, you'd be using the patient's own stem cells, which can take on the form of any cell in the body, and using 3D printer to extrude the overall form. Now, one of the problems with that, as we print these organs, is that they tend to collapse under their own weight. So now technologists are looking at 3D printing organs in space. So Uganda, just a couple of weeks ago, released its first satellite with the help of NASA, and on board is some very sophisticated technology to test this whole idea of 3D printing of human tissue.